In this video, we'll look at where to stay in Salvador. It's a very big city with lots of options for neighborhoods, areas, and beaches. In the historic center, Pelourinho and Santo Antônio Além do Carmo. The best and most famous beaches in Salvador are in Barra. The city's most famous nightlife is in Rio Vermelho, and the more distant beaches are up on the north coast of Salvador. These 13 numbers you see here on the map are the hotels and resorts we're going to check out throughout the video, and that I consider the best places to stay in Salvador. The links for you to check prices and get more information about these hotels and resorts are in the QR code on the screen, as well as in the video description and the first comment. We're going to start here in Salvador's historic center, but before that, I want to give you a tip. In this video, we'll look at 1 or 2 hotels in each neighborhood of Salvador. But over on the blog, there's a much more complete guide with the best hotels and guest houses in every neighborhood and on every beach in the city. The link is in the other QR code that's showing up on the screen and also in the video description and the first comment. So let's start here in Salvador's historic center, which is roughly this area, and it has 2 main neighborhoods, Pelourinho and Santo Antônio Além do Carmo. Salvador's historic center has an incredible architectural ensemble and is the largest preserved colonial architectural complex in Latin America, recognized as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. So, by staying in the historic center, you can immerse yourself in this more historical and cultural part of Salvador, which blends various influences, Catholicism, Afro-Brazilian culture, and it was also the seat of political power during colonial Brazil, since Salvador was the first capital of Brazil. The neighborhood of Pelourinho is the most famous, and the first accommodation on our list is right in the heart of Pelourinho. So the Pelourinho neighborhood is more or less this area right here. And accommodation number 1 is in the best location for you to stay in Pelourinho and the historic center of Salvador. So it will allow you to walk around the entire Pelourinho area on foot. And it's very close to Largo Terreiro de Jesus, which is the main square in Pelourinho. Here is Largo do Pelourinho, where rehearsals and musical performances take place. Here is the Jorge Amado Foundation. And on this side is Praça Tomé de Souza, also known as Praça Municipal, where the Lacerda elevator is located. So you can take the elevator down to the lower city. And right here is the Mercado Modelo, and here is the Bahia Nautical Tourist Terminal, where the boats to Morro de Sao Paulo depart from. So if you stay here, you can walk everywhere in this area. And Pelourinho is a very busy area during the day. It's patrolled by police during the day, so it's a safe environment for you. You can walk around, but avoid using valuable items. At night in Pelourinho, things vary. On rehearsal days or during musical performances, it's busy. Other nights are calmer. Some bars and restaurants open at night, and you can walk the main areas of Pelourinho without worries. But at night, avoid leaving these main areas. In Pelourinho, be ready to walk. There are many hills, alleys, and narrow streets, okay? So let's check out the accommodations here. Number 1 on our list. It's the Bahiacafé Hotel. It's a boutique hotel, 3 stars, rated 9 on Booking. It's very highly rated by guests, so it's located here in a historic building, okay? Here in Pelourinho, the streets are cobblestone. The streets are narrow. It's a boutique hotel. It has a spa, okay? As well. So they offer massage services. But it's a boutique hotel that's not super luxurious, okay? There are other boutique hotels in Pelourinho that are much more expensive, much more luxurious. But the Bahiacafé Hotel offers good value for money with more attractive prices for those who want to stay in the heart of Pelourinho. And it's an excellent option here in the cultural heart of Salvador to really experience the atmosphere and be in some of the most historic places in Brazil. The links for you to check prices and get more information about the hotels are in the QR code on the screen, and also in the video description and the first comment. Here in Pelourinho, there are several other options for hotels, guest houses, and hostels. On the blog article, we have a complete list. If you want to take a look, it will help you out. Now we're going to accommodation number 2, in the neighborhood next to Pelourinho, within Salvador's historic center. So, it's the Santo Antônio Além do Carmo neighborhood, which covers more or less this area here in Salvador's historic center, and it's a bit different from Pelourinho. Santo Antônio has a slightly calmer atmosphere, with fewer attractions than Pelourinho, so during the day, the vibe is more peaceful, more residential. But at the same time, it has a huge variety of bars, restaurants, and bistros. Because of that, it's one of the main gastronomic hubs in Salvador. So here, at Largo do Pelourinho, is the border. Pelourinho is this way, and Santo Antonio is over there. Let me adjust the zoom here for a better view. Entering the Santo Antonio neighborhood, you first encounter Ladera do Carmo, a famous street in the historic center. This area, part of Santo Antonio Além do Carmo, is very connected to Pelourinho with much activity. It has many studios, galleries, bars, and restaurants, creating a lively atmosphere. Ladera do Carmo leads to the Carmo complex, including 2 churches and the Carmo convent. So, it's one of the main tourist attractions here in the historic center. And moving a bit further up, this whole area here is a hill that you climb, and we get to this corner here, where the Cruz do Pascoal is located. At this corner, lively nightlife, several bars, street bars. Accommodation number 2 is here. It's an amazing location and really close for you to get to Pelourinho. Going further through Santo Antonio Além do Carmo, there's Rua Direita de Santo Antonio, this street where you'll find several bars, restaurants, and bistros making up a gastronomic hub in Salvador. They go to Forte de Capoeira at Largo de Santo Antonio. This area is quieter by day. And there are several inns and hotels here. So let's check out accommodation number 2, which is in an amazing location for you to explore Santo Antonio Além do Carmo and Pelourinho. It's the bed and breakfast Vila Carmo. It's an inn rated 8.9 on Booking. So it's a more budget-friendly inn here, with an excellent location in the historic center of Salvador. The inn has a view of the Bay of All Saints, okay? So it's up here on top of the hill with a beautiful view. So this is an option for more affordable accommodation in an old building as well, and with an excellent location here in Salvador's historic center. And over on the blog article, there are more lodging options here in Santo Antonio, besides Carmo. Check out the article. We're moving on to another area in Salvador where accommodation number 3 is. This is the Largo do Campo Grande area. I'll talk more about it in just a bit. It has an amazing location right between the historic center on one side and Barra, where Salvador's most famous beaches are, on the other. So, it's about 1 to 2 kilometers in either direction, a quick ride by taxi, app, or public transport, and you can get to both of Salvador's main tourist areas, okay? Let me zoom in here to show this area better. So, accommodation 3 is here at Largo do Campo Grande, which is a square in the central area of Salvador. This area here is in the central region, but it's the newer downtown of Salvador, okay? Not the historic center, like over in Pelourinho. Here in the square is the Castro Alves Theater, which is the main theater in the city. And from Largo do Campo Grande, you have the Corredor de Vitória, which is an avenue that goes through the Vitória neighborhood and connects to Barra, which is over here, okay? So it's a fantastic location. This area here is an upscale neighborhood, okay? An upscale area, but here. Largo do Campo Grande, this area, is a central area, but a bit run down, okay? A little unsafe, especially at night. It's not recommended to go for walks here at night, and it's also an area with few bars and restaurants open at night. So there's really nothing for you to do on foot around the hotel. But this is also a good spot for you to explore some attractions that are nearby. Around Largo do Campo Grande and Corredor de Vitória, Avenida do Contorno has good restaurants. This is where you'll find the MAM, the Museum of Modern Art. Next to the MAM, beaches like Praia de Gamboa, where you can catch a boat to Gamboa de Baixo, where Bar de Monica is. This area has attractions. Now let's check out accommodation number 3. It's the Hotel de Bahia, Bayuish. It's a 5-star hotel, rated 8.4 on Booking, and the Hotel de Bahia is one of the most famous hotels in Salvador. It was the first 5-star hotel in Salvador. So, it's a historic hotel, and in the mid-20th century, it was a meeting spot for Salvador's elite. This hotel has several works of art, including the panel by Gennaro de Carmo, which is quite famous. But the hotel also has several other works of art. It has a pool, a gym, a bar, and restaurants, including Gennaro, which is one of the best restaurants in Salvador. So, it's a luxury hotel right here in the heart of the region. Central Salvador. The blog article has more lodging options at Largo do Campo Grande and Corredor de Vitória. We're heading to Barra, which is the neighborhood where the two most famous beaches in the city are located, Porto da Barra and Farol da Barra. Barra is an upscale neighborhood. It's the area with the most expensive real estate per square meter in Salvador, and one thing that sets Barra apart is that it is Shopping Barra, which is one of the best malls in Salvador and the largest mall in this more central part of the city. Let's first check out Porto da Barra Beach, which is where accommodation 4 is located. So, Porto da Barra Beach is a small beach, about 250 meters long, and it faces the Bay of All Saints. So it has really calm waters. It's a wonderful beach for swimming, and it's the most crowded beach in the city. It gets really crowded on weekends and holidays. There are lots of beach stalls here to serve the visitors, and there's a fort at each end of the beach. On the right side, you'll find São Diogo Fort, which houses the Caribe Art Space. And on the left side, there's the Santa Marta Fort, which is where the Pierre Verger Space for Bahian photography is located. So there are two really cool forts here, one at each end of the beach. And here at Porto da Barra Beach, the vibe is simpler and more affordable than at Farol da Barra. The buildings here are smaller and older. It has good commercial infrastructure around the area. There are several bars and restaurants throughout the neighborhood and along the waterfront. And there's a nightlife scene that happens here too. It's a safe area to walk around during the day. It's usually well patrolled by the police. At night, you can walk along the waterfront, although more rundown spots might give insecurity. Accommodation 4 is the Grande Hotel de Barra. It's a 4-star hotel. It has a rating of 8.2 on Booking.com, and it's the best hotel here in Porto da Barra, even though it's an old hotel. And it doesn't have luxurious infrastructure, but it's still the best hotel in this neighborhood. The Grande Hotel Barra is here. This is Porto da Barra Beach, and here is one of the forts, right? So, it's a hotel that has a pool, and it also has a playroom for kids. There's a gym, a bar, a restaurant, and a massage room. So, it's an excellent option for staying here in Porto da Barra, which is a beach with a seaside street. All right, more options listed in the article on the blog. Hotels, guest houses, and many hostels in Porto da Barra. And now we're going to head over to the Farol da Barra, which is about 600 meters from Porto da Barra. And Farol da Barra Beach is a bit bigger, okay? A little bigger than Porto da Barra. It has an oceanfront avenue, and the atmosphere here is a bit more sophisticated than over at Porto da Barra. So here you already see some more modern buildings, mixed in with some older ones. The neighborhood here also has commercial infrastructure. Barra shopping is really close by. It takes up this whole area here, and there's even an entrance right near the waterfront, so it's a big mall with excellent facilities. And over on the right side is the Barra Lighthouse, which is one of Salvador's most famous tourist attractions and one of the best spots in the city to watch the sunset. And on the other end of the beach is Morro do Cristo, which also offers a panoramic view from here. Farol da Barra Beach faces the ocean, so it has the sea with stronger waves, especially at high tide, but at low tide the water is calmer and some natural pools even form here. There are several hotels and restaurants in the neighborhood, and some of them are open at night along the waterfront, so there is some nightlife here. It's safe to walk around here during the day. There is police presence, and at night you can also walk along the waterfront, but you should be a little more careful. So let's check out accommodation number 5, which is right in front of the sea on Avenida Beira Mar, here at Farol da Barra. Monte Pascoal Praia Hotel Salvador. 4-star hotel, 9 booking. Highly rated. Best hotel Farol da Barra. It has good infrastructure. Look, it has a pool right in front of the sea, right? Down here runs Avenida Beira Mar, okay? So this pool is heated. Over in the corner is Morro do Cristo. So it has several room options. It offers beach service here, okay? And it even has food, drinks, and snack service. Served by the hotel right on the beach. On the other side, at Farol da Barra, there's a gym and a kids' playroom. So here is the location of Monte Pascoal. Here is Avenida Beira Mar. Here is Farol da Barra Beach. And in the background, the Farol da Barra Lighthouse. So it's an excellent hotel option here in Barra, Salvador, with great infrastructure. The links for you to check hotel prices are in the QR code, in the video description, and also in the first comment, and over in the article on the blog. There's a complete list of hotels, inns, and hostels here in Farol da Barra. And now, moving a bit further along the waterfront, still in central Salvador, a good area for you to stay in the city is the neighborhood of Ondina, which is roughly this area here. So Ondina is a neighborhood with an excellent location between Barra and between Rio Vermelho, which is the main nightlife area of the city. And you still have easy access here to Salvador's historic center. Here, between Barra and Ondina, runs the main circuit of Salvador's carnival. And Ondina has several little beaches, okay? So, it's a jagged coastline with several small beaches, but none of them are among the most popular in the city. The downside of staying here in Ondina is that it's a neighborhood with fewer bars and restaurants, so it's not really a place where you can walk around a lot outside the hotel, because there aren't many attractions or bars and restaurants here. But at the same time, you'll be very close, just a quick taxi, rideshare, or public transport right away from the main areas of the city. So let's check out accommodation number 6 in Ondina. And it's the Vila Salvador, a 4-star hotel with an 8.3 rating on Booking. So it's the oldest hotel in the Vila chain, and it's not all-inclusive. It's located right here facing the sea, but on this stretch, there's no beach, okay? There's a little beach here in Ondina, but it's not one of the most popular ones. And there's a pool here facing the sea. So it's a hotel that has a pool, a bar, a restaurant, and a gym. And it's right here, look, in the Ondina neighborhood. Really close to Barra on this side, and to Rio Vermelho over there. So if you want, there are more lodging options in Ondina listed in the article on the blog too. And now we're heading over to Rio Vermelho, which is the neighborhood that has the most vibrant nightlife here in Salvador. So, let me explain the attractions in the Rio Vermelho neighborhood. Rio Vermelho also has a few small beaches, okay? So, the two main ones, the two that are best for swimming and have beach hut infrastructure, are Praia de Paciencia and Praia do Biracao, okay? And here in the heart of the neighborhood is Praia do Rio Vermelho, but it's a beach that's really a haven for fishermen, with a large concentration of boats, and it's not suitable for swimming, okay? The heart of the neighborhood is between two squares, two open plazas. Look, they're right here, see? One of them is Largo de Santana and the other is Largo de Mariquita. So, these two squares here, all this surrounding area, have a huge number of bars, restaurants, and nightclubs with the liveliest nightlife in Salvador. It's a really busy area, okay? With lots of options for going out at night. And they're also where you'll find the most famous acreage stands in Salvador. Dedna here at Largo de Santana and Cirrus here at Largo de Mariquita. Still here at Largo de Mariquita, right across the street, is the old fish market, which was turned into Vila Caramuru, a food market with several bars and restaurants, and it also has a lively nightlife, with some bars here offering live music. Inside the neighborhood, there's also the Casa do Rio Vermelho, which is another cultural attraction. But overall, the Rio Vermelho neighborhood doesn't have that many daytime attractions, okay? So it's a place for you to stay. But during the day, you'll want to get around to other parts of the city to see the sights. But you'll already be staying in the main nightlife spot in the city. So let's check out accommodation number 7, which is in the best location for enjoying Rio Vermelho's nightlife. Look, it's right next to Largo de Santana and really close to Largo de Marica. So let's check out accommodation number 7. It's the Catharina Paraguaçu Hotel, a 3-star boutique hotel with an 8.9 rating on Booking. And the Catharina Paraguaçu Hotel is in a historic building, okay? Which has been restored. And it's a boutique hotel that blends an old-fashioned atmosphere, okay? It also has gardens. So, it's a cozy option right in the heart of the Rio Vermelho neighborhood. And still here in the Rio Vermelho neighborhood, accommodation number 8 is a bigger hotel, okay? Here in Rio Vermelho, there are several chain hotels from big hotel chains, and this one is on Rua Font du Boi. So Rua Font du Boi also has some options for bars and restaurants, and it's close to the heart of Rio Vermelho in the main area. Although, if you walk here at night, you'll go through a stretch that's a bit more deserted, a bit darker. Maybe, even though the distance is short, sometimes you might want to take some transportation, like a ride app or a taxi, to get to the main nightlife area. And right next to it is Buracao Beach, which is a beach with some infrastructure like beach huts to serve visitors, but it's a beach with strong waves and lots of rocks. So let's check out accommodation number 8. It's the IBE Salvador Rio Vermelho, a 3-star budget hotel, rated 8.2 on Booking. So the IBE hotel is this one here, and right in front of it is a Mercury Hotel. This Mercury Hotel faces the ocean, but the IBE does not. But they're together there in the same complex. So, even the IBS, right? It's the standard for the IBS chain here. See, here's the view from it. There's a little beach right in front, but it's not very popular. It's a standard hotel from the IBS chain. It has a restaurant, a bar, okay? And it's in a good spot here for you to explore Rio Vermelho. And over on the Artigno blog, we have a complete list of hotels, inns, and hostels here in Rio Vermelho. Take a look there later. On the Artigno blog, we have a list of places to stay at the beaches in Salvador, Emeralina, Patuba, Jardim de Ala, and Armacao. These are the cheapest beaches to stay at. It's a budget-friendly area with many cheap hotels. Check out the blog for a complete list of accommodations. And now we're moving on to accommodation number 9, which is in the Caminho das Arvores neighborhood, okay? That's a neighborhood that's kind of like where Avenida Tancredo Neves is, which is Salvador's financial and business center. So it's the most modern part of the city. There are many executive hotels here and the 2 best shopping malls in Salvador, Salvador Shopping and the Bahia Shopping Mall. Here you will also be close to the Salvador Convention Center, which is the city's main events venue. Here is the Salvador bus station, but there is another bus station under construction in another part of the city, much further away from here. So when you're watching this video, the bus station might have already moved. And there are also several Salvador subway stations here. The subway doesn't go to the main tourist attractions, but it can make it easier for you to get around here. At least close by. It goes more or less to a point here in the central part of the city, where you will then be closer to the main attractions. There's also a subway station here near Arena Font Nova, okay? And the subway is also close to the airport, which is more toward the north coast of Salvador. So accommodation 9 has an excellent location here in Caminho das Arvores, because it's right next to Shopping de Bahia, which is a great mall, okay? Plus, it's also really close to the bus station and the subway station. So let's check out accommodation number 9. And it's the Ibis Budget Salvador, a 2-star budget hotel, okay? It has a score of 8.3 on Booking. So the Ibis Budget has pretty compact rooms, okay? And it's a hotel with a really budget-friendly concept, all right? But for those looking for just a room to stay in. And now we're going to move on to the north coast of Salvador, right here. It's much farther away, right, from the central area. So here on the north coast of Salvador, you'll find the city's last 3 beaches. Itapuã, Stella Maris, and Flamengo. Salvador's airport is here, and this area is about 20 to 30 kilometers away from Pelourinho and Barra. The drive can take 30 minutes without traffic, but it can take over an hour if there's traffic, okay? So this area is farther from the main part of Salvador, but it has really beautiful beaches and lots of attractions. And from here, you're already on the way out to beaches north of Salvador, like Praia do Forte, Guarajuba, Arambeep, Imbacai, among others. So let's start here with the neighborhood of Itapuã. The neighborhood of Itapuã is a big neighborhood here, okay? Itapuã has several different little beaches, all right? But the main part, the most touristy area, is around here near Hospedagem 10. Let me zoom in here. So Hospedagem 10 is right next to the Itapuã Lighthouse, which is the main tourist spot in the neighborhood. And there are several little beaches here. And many of them also have good beach huts and bars to serve the beachgoers, all right? So let's take a look at Hospedagem 10. And it's the Casa d'Adna Boutique Hotel. It's a 4-star boutique hotel, rated 9.1 on Booking. It's a very well-reviewed hotel. So, look, it has a pool. The pool is heated. I don't know if both are, but at least one of them is heated. It's located here on Beira Mar Street, right in front of the beach, okay? And its unique feature is that it is located in the former house of Vinicius de Maris during the time he lived here on Itapuã Beach. So, that's a big highlight of this hotel. It also has a playground here for kids. It has a very famous restaurant, which is actually open to non-guests as well. So, it occupies this large property here, the former house of Vinicius de Maris, right in front of the beach, at the main spot in Itapuã, where the Itapuã Lighthouse is, okay? It's just that the beach here isn't that great for swimming in the sea. Unlike other beaches in Salvador, it's not one of the best, okay? But the hotel itself has excellent infrastructure. It even has a gym. An excellent location here, in a large area in Itapuã. And still here in Itapuã, further inland in the neighborhood, about 500 meters from the beach, Hospedajum 11 is one of the best resorts in Salvador. It's one of the largest hotels in the city, and also one of the highest rated, okay? So let's take a look. It's the Hotel de Vila Prime Salvador. It's a 5-star resort, rated 9.2 on Booking, one of the highest rated hotels in Salvador. And it has excellent infrastructure, okay? There are several pools, including this new pool here, where there are bungalows that need to be reserved and have an extra cost. It also has a kids' pool with a big play area, and there's another large pool here as well. Look, there's a big, modern gym. It has several other leisure options, like sand courts, a soccer field, a recreation team, and even a lake. So it's an excellent choice for a highly rated hotel with great infrastructure here. It also has several bars and restaurants, okay? And accommodations 12 and 13 are located at Stella Maris Beach, which is the second to last beach here on Salvador's north coast. And the last one is Flamingo Beach, right next in line, okay? From here on, it's already the city of Louro de Freitas. It's right next to Salvador's airport, okay? And Stella Maris and Flamingo are two beaches with strong waves, all right? So these are beaches with strong waves and lots of rocks. At low tide, some spots form natural pools, and they have several beach shacks and bars that are among the most famous and popular in Salvador, including here at Flamingo Beach, Pipa and Louro, which are the two most famous ones. And there's a location here. Louro also has a spot at Stella Maris, but there are plenty of other beach shack options here, okay? So let's check out accommodation number 12 first, all right? This is a residential area that has some commercial infrastructure and also a few restaurants, especially here in Stella Maris where there are several restaurants. But it's not really a place where you'll find major attractions besides the beach, and it's also not an area where you should be walking around too much at night, okay? Restaurants are spread out. So let's look at accommodation 12, right on the sand, at Stella Maris Beach, where the beach is empty. The sea here is rough, so it's not a great swimming beach. Accommodation 12 is right on the sand. It's the Carmo Saba Resort Hotel, so it's a 4-star resort rated 7.8 on Booking, which isn't such a great score from guests. So the resort is right on the sand. It opens directly onto Stella Maris Beach, but in a stretch that's not very busy, okay? There aren't many beach bars or options around. Just the hotel's own services. With a large green area, it has a recreation team, a playground, a bar, and a restaurant. He has a mini zoo too, okay? Here, look, recreation team. Here's the beach in front of the hotel. So, a beachfront option here. A slightly older resort, okay? Here, look, the mini zoo. Another option here on Stella Maris Beach. And it has as an option the meal plan with either full board or half board if you want, with lunch or dinner included, okay? And to wrap up here, accommodation number 13, the last hotel on our list, is already located in the busiest part of Stella Maris. Stella Maris has a revitalized beachfront with several sports facilities. In this part of the beach, there are beach huts to serve swimmers, okay? There's also Beira-Mar Avenue. Accommodation number 13 is where Beira-Mar Avenue becomes a street, okay? Beira-Mar Street, busier stretch of beach with several beach huts serve swimmers. Right after this, Flamingo Beach. This is end of Stella Maris. It's the Grand Hotel Stella Maris Urban Resort and AMP Conventions. It's a 4-star resort rated 8.3 on Booking, and it's a resort that occupies a large area right in front of the sea here, okay? So the pools are facing the ocean. So the resort has a big leisure infrastructure as well, recreation staff, playground, kids' playroom, there are courts, okay? There are bars, restaurants, and a gym. So, look, here at Stella Maris Beach, there are a lot of rocks. The sea is rough at high tide, but at low tide some natural pools form here. And here there are several beach huts to serve the swimmers, okay? On the beach. So, it's a spacious hotel. Look, there's a kids' pool with a big play structure too, and a recreation team. So it's an excellent option here right in front of the sea in Salvador. On the blog article, we have a complete list of more hotels and guest houses here at Stella Maris Beach and at Flamingo Beach, the neighboring beach. Links to check prices of hotels and resorts shown are in the QR code on screen and the video description and first comment. I hope you enjoyed the video Where to Stay in Salvador. Take care. See you in the next video.